All right, so welcome everyone to Whiskey 411. Today we're doing whiskey pairings with things that I made at home.
That's dangerous.
You're not joking. No, you are joking. Are you joking? I don't know.
We'll find out.
Okay. And today we're doing something a little unusual. Well, not really unusual. It's something we haven't done before. Right?
I've never done before.
How about you?
I mean, I've done whiskey pairings before, but
Okay.
not with this specific stuff.
All right, and that's exactly what we're doing today. Is we're going to practice whiskey pairings. Now, for those of you who don't know, is I am a whiskey sommelier. I'm actually studying to be a level 2 whiskey sommelier. Now, part of that process is not just deductive tasting, which I've done videos on, but also, and not just reviewing whiskeys, but also being able to pair a whiskey. So, have you ever paired a whiskey with anything on purpose? Like,
Never on purpose. On accident, I found that whiskey tasted pretty good with something.
awesome, and that's part of what we're doing. We're just doing it a little more scientific today. All right, so you said you have done some pairings?
Yeah, I mean, been to some, trade different pairings.
Okay, and did you, when you did that, did you select your whiskey based on what you were eating, or did you select what you were eating based on your whiskey?
Well, no, I always have an idea for what I'm going to eat. So, at that point, I just decide, I go look through the whiskey I have and see which I think is going to go the best with it.
Okay, prepared for this was I took some sweet cherries, I pitted them and stuffed them with marzipan. I took that marzipan and I coated the whole cherry and marzipan with a 78% cocoa dark chocolate. I actually used Lent, is the brand I used, if you're looking for it and want to try this at home.
Right.
Then I took and finally chopped up some almonds and sprinkled those on top with just a few grains of sea salt on top for some added texture and flavor.
Sounds good.
So the idea being that the almonds would bring out the flavor of the marzipan, which is an almond paste.
Right.
Okay, so the second thing on the plate is something that I came across that I found was really interesting. And it was a chocolate-covered cheese. Now, the original recipe said to use sharp cheddar or Colby Jack, something like that. I wanted to do something a little different and to really kind of try to elevate this. So what I did was I went and grabbed an aged white cheddar. I coated it in a bittersweet chocolate. I used Ghirardelli's bittersweet chocolate. It's a 60% cocoa. What?
Caramel.
Yeah, well, I was getting there.
Well, you put that underneath the chocolate. Sorry.
All right, we'll just reshoot that, shall we?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
You can,
Go ahead.
do I tell you how to do your job?
You don't know enough about my job.
Everybody's a critic, man. The idea being is I wanted something a little earthy, a little sweet, which you get from the cheese and the chocolate already, and then I
Right.
wanted to add a little texture and just a hint of saltiness. So that's why I added the almond and the salt.
Sounds
Fair?
interesting.
Okay, sounds good?
That sounds delicious.
So the theory being that each one will either complement or contrast based on the whiskey. All right?
Right.
Okay, so the first whiskey that we have is Jameson. Just a nice, simple Irish, affordable, available everywhere, 40% ABV. Nothing really special, but a good classic Irish.
Easy to find.
Okay.
You have this one?
I've had Jameson.
Oh, yeah.
You like Jameson?
I like something a little, I don't know, I think the flavor's okay. But
Okay.
I prefer something with a little, not even sure what I'm looking for.
Maybe a little more strength to it, maybe a little more body.
Yeah, I'll be able to explain it after I probably have
Okay,
it.
that's
It's
fair.
been a
No,
while.
that's totally fair. And you, I know you've had Jameson. I know you're not necessarily a fan.
Yeah, the acetone note's too heavy for me.
Okay. Well, and hopefully with this pairing, we can actually make that go away a little bit. Maybe we can balance out that flavor and make it
We'll see.
more palatable.
Right? We'll see.
So the second whiskey that we've got is Maker's Mark, simple classic bourbon. We've had it before. I mean, we just did the blind tasting video with it. Now, part of the reason I wanted that is because it has a cherry note.
Very prevalent cherry.
Right?
Yeah.
And one thing so I think it'll complement really well with the cherries, obviously.
Right.
Now, it'll either ramp it way up or it'll neutralize it. Each one of you may be different. I'm not sure.
Right.
But it should contrast with the cheese.
I would
That
think.
earthy versus the sweeter, and it may balance out that cinnamon and spice that you get from the bourbon.
We'll see what it does.
All
I'm
right.
curious about the cherry.
This is all an experiment, and this is all practice.
Yeah.
And then the third, I wanted to do something a little different. So I grabbed an aged Isla whiskey. So this is Bowmore 12. It's 43%? No, 40%. It's a peated Isla. Very approachable. In fact, I have this on my top 10 whiskeys for beginners as my introduction to Isla for people.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
Because it's very approachable. It's not overly smoky, but you get that smoke, and it's not a salty smoke like you get from Highland Park. It's
Right.
definitely a smoke.
Or Talisker.
Yes.
Brine
So,
for these.
I'm actually drinking Mirador right now because, well,
I'm a nice
that- sometimes. Well, I said I need a whiskey to drink, and I didn't bring enough for me to do this tasting, so I just wanted to be the Sherpa guide today.
Right.
So I said, pick me a whiskey. I thought he was going to pick one of these three, and Matthew picked Mirador, and I, for some reason, couldn't say no.
Understandable.
All right, so let's go ahead and grab your first cherry.
All right.
All right, and go ahead and plop it in your mouth and chew. Go ahead and give it a good chew. Now, if you want to take a sip of the whiskey while you're chewing on it, that's not a bad idea. I think it'll marry the flavors a little bit better. Yeah, on your right should be the Jameson. So okay, so that's
So it changes the nose.
Okay, and what are you doing? What are you getting on the nose?
I mean, it's partly because of the taste of the
Well,
cherry,
no,
but
that's
it's
the whole
making
point.
almost like a raspberry characteristic through this sinus
Okay,
passage.
so it actually
I
changed.
thought it was citrus.
Okay, see that, and that's what we're saying. So you already got something different on the nose. So go ahead and take a taste. All right, and Matthew, so what are you getting from the taste? Are you getting Are you still getting just Jameson, or what are you getting?
No, it almost goes to a bourbon character because of that cherry.
Okay, that's
But
kind of cool.
It
But what
still
else?
has a slight bit of the acetone at the back end of the finish, but it is much more pleasant.
Okay, so what kind of notes are you getting from the combination now? You said it smelled different. What kind of are you getting on that?
So basically, it ended up being like the cherry, like the cherry character off of the, out of bourbon,
Right.
because of obviously we're eating a cherry, highlighted that it brought that cherry stuck around. The cherry flavor was in there, so that
Right.
made the thread of, what it would be shortbread, the notes you normally get out of Jamie kind of turned into more of a bourbon-esque
More of
characteristic.
a malty kind of corn undertone.
Yeah, right. And that
Okay.
sweetness and everything.
Okay, awesome. And so what did you get?
I have to agree with the little nutty, the undertone being the little.
So you got a nuttier. Okay.
uh,
Well, and some of
I'm
that
trying
may
to
be
put
from
a-
the almond. So that is almond, and it does have marzipan, which is almond
Yeah.
taste.
I'm trying to put a name on the character that I'm finding. The note.
Is it okay? So is it sweet?
It is a sweet.
Is it
It kind
fruity?
of reminds me of a cherry, like chocolate covered cherry, like
Sure.
kind of like a. I don't know. It's.
So what kind of cherry is it? Is it like candied or like a Queen Anne's cherry
I wouldn't
cordial,
say-
something
well,
like that, or more of like a sour cherry? Like how would you describe the cherry?
A little bit of tart.
Okay.
Tart with a little bit of the sweet and the tart, yeah, and the chocolate. It just stuck with you for a
Okay.
little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
the cherry
now,
flavor.
so would you say that you enjoyed that pairing? Is that a pairing you would like to try again? Would you
I
recommend
wouldn't
that
do
pairing
that.
to someone?
Yeah, for a Jameson, I'd probably rather have it like that than by itself.
Okay, that's awesome. And you?
Yeah, I mean, I do like it comparatively. It definitely improves Jameson,
For you.
but it also kind of hides it to me. I
Okay.
mean, like I said, it turns it more into a bourbon, so,
And you like bourbon.
and I like bourbon.
So that's
So,
not a bad thing.
it's not a bad thing. So, of course, that pairing works well for me,
okay.
but it does hide that.
Okay, and
Pretty
it
definitely.
is a softer Irish whiskey.
Right.
Now, is that a pairing that you would recommend to a friend?
Oh yeah, especially if they like the sweeter characteristics in their whiskey.
Or if someone really liked bourbon and you were trying to introduce them to Irish, would you guys
Right,
say
as
that's
a way to
a
sidestep
segue?
them in. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll move on to the Maker's Mark. So go ahead and grab your second cherry. Perfect. And once again, give it a little inhale. And let's see what we're getting on the nose. Anything different? So what are you getting?
A lot more wood character coming out.
Okay, so you're getting more of the tannins.
Kind of like a sweet cedar.
Okay.
Yeah,
sweet
cedar nails.
Okay,
That's-
I
yeah.
have not heard that. So when you're saying sweet cedar, are you saying like sweeter,
You
like
know when you
cedar
walk
with like
into
sugary?
a lumber place and you just get that cedar smell.
Right.
That and maybe a little produce section next to it. To where you get the fruits and
Yeah, the
Oh,
fruits.
okay. So
Yeah.
okay, so you're getting kind of like fruit on
A cedar tree.
yeah,
That's really cool. I
sweet cedar. That's the only thing.
so like fruit on a cedar plank.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. That's awesome. All right, so go ahead and let's get a taste in. All right, and so Brad, what do you get right away? What's the first thing you get right away, other than the burn?
Yeah, the burner wasn't ready for. That one had it a little bit, but this one it got stronger.
This is a 45% ABV, so it's a little bit higher. Flavor-wise,
That's
anything with
cherry
flavors.
flavor.
Okay, so
Just
cherries
spikes,
obviously.
yeah.
So it just ramps up the.
There's some cinnamon. There was a lot of cinnamon there too. After the aftertaste.
Okay, so for you, it brought up the cherry, but it also elevated the cinnamon.
The cinnamon's coming through.
And what would you say?
Agree with both of those.
Okay.
There's a bit more of a citrus,
Yeah.
lemon zest that kind of is in the mid palate.
Okay.
But all of the other, like the cinnamon cherry, is just like all forward. That's
Okay,
just
and
punched in.
now my question, of course, is: would you recommend this to a friend? Is
Yes,
this the pairing you would
very much
try?
So, like if you want marks, like have it with cherries. Like if you can get chocolate covered with cherries, like
Is
Oh yeah.
would you
They-
say that's like a
definitely.
heavy cinnamon cherry pie, maybe?
yeah, I wouldn't say
Or like a
so.
cherry
There's no
turnover?
bread in it. There's no bread involved. But as
Yeah, you
far as
don't
the
really get
cherry,
the
like
malt,
if you
like
just
a
take
malt
that
cherry.
cherry out
Okay.
of it, yeah,
Yeah.
Nice. So let's go ahead. If you need to, go ahead and rinse your palates out a little bit.
a little bit.
And we may need to re-pour you just a little. We'll see. So let's go ahead into whiskey number 3. And your
I
chi-
am
and-
going
oh, no,
to-
yeah. no.
Not
You're
yet.
gonna need that.
Yeah.
You're gonna need that.
Yeah,
We
because
still
we
got
got
cheese to
the
go.
cheese.
Oh, at the end,
That
I
was
was wanting-
close.
Sorry, I was wanting to make a blend.
We will.
We'll do that.
Okay.
I just won't have anything to pair with it.
Okay, no, that okay.
Okay, so go ahead and grab up your next cherries, guys. Plop them in, chomp them up, and go for the whiskey. So once again, this is the Bowmore. This is that nice, lightly peated Isla. So go ahead. I'll let you guys go ahead and take a taste. Just make mental notes of what you're smelling right now, so you can tell me in a second. And if you're able to tell me what you're smelling, go ahead. I just don't want you to necessarily talk with your mouth full.
It smells like a tire fire.
Loki.
It smells like a tire fire. That's awesome.
Tire fire. That's a,
So you said
I was
you
thinking
smell
of oak,
oaky?
like maybe
I get oak too.
Like burned oak, maybe.
like burnt oak,
Okay.
something like that. Like
The
maybe a
burnt-
fire.
Like barbecue.
Yeah, the first thing I got was just that,
Okay.
So
The tire fire is a good one. 'Cause my initial smell is
Yeah, my
different.
theory on
Yeah,
this.
the initial
now-
smell, tire fire is a good description.
so my theory on how this should taste. Go ahead and take another taste, and go ahead and take a taste, and let those flavors marry. Is so I know you're not necessarily familiar with Ardbeg, but is this familiar? Is this reminiscent of like Anoa almost? Smoky and fruity.
Slightly. I mean, it's definitely, you can tell it's, lower proof.
Sure.
So you don't get
You can tell
the
it's
character
low
is
proof.
softer.
What proof
than-
is this?
A 40.
40.
40.
Well, 40%.
5%.
Eight.
Man, that's
No, it's 40%. Yeah, not, yeah.
Yeah, 80 proof.
80
This is
proof,
90
yes.
proof.
Yeah.
Um,
That's same proof, but the.
we almost always use
10%,
80.
big difference. But
Well, 10 proof,
Yeah, it was
5%.
But yeah,
that's a good starter. Like you said, starter, that'd be a good starter. That's got a smooth flavor to it. Like it doesn't exactly have the burn, maybe it'll push you away from trying whiskey.
but yeah,
Go ahead.
you get like the cherry, obviously, the note, all that comes in pretty well.
It does.
You don't get the taste of like the tires and all of that. You get more of the, the honey and the malt.
Okay.
Like malt flavor
Yeah.
and everything comes
Now,
in.
would you say that the almond brought out the malt more? Or
Yeah, I would think that's probably what
Do
I'm
you-
tasting.
what do you
Like
think the malt was
elevated, because
associated?
it is more punchy than like I remember just Balmore being like that part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for you, what did you think about the flavors? Like, how did they marry for you? Did you?
When I smelt it, I was expecting something else when I tasted it. It was just the flavors like so is under what would you say? If the smell is really strong,
So there was a
flavor
mismatch.
is Really,
There was a
Subtle.
mismatch. So you
Like
Yeah.
it tasted subtler than it smelled.
yes, the subtleness of the flavor.
Okay, was the cherry with that? Was that a good balance for you?
I say it's a good balance, but I was expecting more of it. This has more of what I would think it would have tasted like, but
Okay, yeah, and I thought about bringing art.
that Marks was yeah.
I didn't want to overpower anyone today.
But no, the Beaumont is yeah.
Okay, so once again, would you recommend that pairing? Is that a pairing you would like?
Yeah,
you
I
said
definitely
you like that.
Yeah, it was
It
good.
was a pretty good pairing, yeah.
Okay.
Especially, I like the difference between the nose and the taste for
So
me.
you-
It was
so you
such a
Yeah, huge difference.
So you like the concept?
Yeah.
right. It contrasted between nose and taste.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
well that you're just
Yeah.
like, where'd that come
It's
from?
like the yin and yang of whiskey.
There you go. Okay,
Right.
so there we go. That was what did I say? This was my contrast whiskey for that one, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
Awesome. See, we're learning.
Yes.
All right, so now comes the fun part. This is the part that everyone thinks is really weird, and I do recommend you try it at home. You don't necessarily need to do my recipe. Little cheese, a little sea salt, and a little bittersweet chocolate. Don't go milk chocolate. Don't go heavy cocoa. It'll get too bitter. Nice bittersweet. Make it at home. Takes about 10-15 minutes. Throw it in the fridge. It's awesome. So anyway, go ahead and grab your first piece of cheese, guys. I'm gonna sniff my Mirador. Just go ahead and dig on in, and then we're gonna start with the Jameson. Oh, that's so good. And now the Jameson may be punched down a little bit by this.
It's.
And
I'm
you've
getting
already
more
got
of that.
higher proof.
Well, I'm getting more of the acetone characteristic popping on the nose now.
Okay, but now
This
taste
mix.
it with that, so you get that flavor mixing, because you do want the flavors to mix. Okay, so Brad, what's your first impression?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay,
I'm
fair
trying
enough.
to-
I'll come back to you.
I'm trying to
Salted
ponder
peanuts.
that one. 'cause
Salted peanuts.
Salted peanuts, almost like they're caramel corn peanuts.
But so it really just puts the whiskey in the background. It really just for you. Is
I'm getting a little
Yeah,
bit of like
like-
a roasted
well-
salted peanut, like a salted peanut, but it's
Right.
been like roasted a little bit. Like the difference of
Right.
like what a
Yeah,
roasted one
right.
and just a salted. But
Yeah,
you
that
get
darker.
like
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
yeah.
now-
roasty kind of
now did the cheese come through at all?
the what?
The cheese. Did the cheese come through, or did that just
The
blend
cheese
in with the whiskey?
did come out more than chocolate did. I was
Yeah,
expecting
it's-
chocolate to be more deeper.
But
Would you say it made it a creamier mouthfeel, or like a more?
yeah.
Wasn't too bad, yeah. It felt pretty good in the mouth. It just, yeah, I was expecting the cheese to not be as strong as the chocolate. Yeah,
Okay, so is that a pairing you would try again? Or, I mean, I'm not asking if it's your favorite. Just is that a pairing that you like?
It's a good
I
pairing.
know. I think people should try it.
It-
They
it's-
blended
they
into
went
each
off of-
other to such a degree that it was like you don't really get you get like a little bit of the astringent of the whiskey at the back.
So it really just took them and married them together, and you just gotta.
a salted roasted peanut with a little bit of caramel sweetness. You know?
I like that. I like that.
The caramel, yeah, the caramel did come
Right.
through a little bit.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to number 2, and that is the Maker's
Maker's.
Mark. Yeah, they're dangerous foods.
I keep pulling it
If
up.
you have them, get the little cocktail stickers that have the rounded ends on your toothpicks. Yeah, I stabbed myself with these like half a dozen times trying to make them. Okay,
It really brings oak.
Mikey likes the smell so far.
It brings oak really far forward.
All right, so go ahead and
Nose.
take a taste and let me know. Okay, so first person with first impression. Brad, go.
I wish there was a little more in there.
We got a new mooch.
That was just enough to touch the tongue.
I will
He's
hook
on the
you.
mooch side.
I will hook you up like a tow truck.
Yeah. No, I tried it again.
I love that. I love that you have to go back to it. Okay, so Brad.
If cherry wood smelled and tasted like what you think cherry wood would taste like, there you go. It's like cherry and wood, but it's like the flavors are supposed to be there instead of like you're tasting wood.
So you're
like,
saying it really brought out that tannin, that oak, that spice a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you ever smoked with cherry wood, yeah, it does have like a sweeter smell to it, but you don't really get cherry. No, if you actually
if you took cherry wood and soaked it in cherry juice.
yeah. If you soaked it in cherry juice, then smoked it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And are you getting anything different at all, or?
It's it's the. I actually kind of like the nuts on there. It just that salty crunch added another element because all of what he's talking about, that's like all right in your face. It's just like cherry wood, like
that's why we would have had that.
Licking a barrel and eating a thing of maraschinos.
So very complimentary is what you're saying. Like, and very complimentary.
Right, and then the nuts, that little crunch and salt. Gives it another little tweak of cinnamon and a little bit of that characteristic.
And would you say that's balanced it more together? Like it brought the flavors together, even though it was punched up. Would you say that it elevated, like it brought the flavors together, married them?
I would say yeah, and I would definitely say, weirdly, they are complementary, not contrasting.
Well, no, absolutely, and they should have been. The cherry with the chocolate should.
Well, yeah, but we're doing the cheese.
Well, the cherry note in the whiskey is what I was getting.
Now,
I was surprised that you got more of the cherry from the whiskey than you did the cheese.
Right. I did get some cherry, but I guess cherry wood.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's go on to last but not least.
The Balmore.
Bowmore.
I don't know.
It was like
Balmore.
Yeah. He's from Kansas, y'all. So am I. Same parents. Weird how that works. All right. So first impression on the nose. Digging it.
It's citrus and malt.
Okay. So you're getting a little earthiness.
Mm-hmm. A little bit like almost.
You guys know a little bit more about whiskey than I do. So I don't really get that. I don't really get what malt means, but I do really taste it.
Think cereal. Think like
cereal, or like if you go like a bag of oats.
I think
you've been around farms, right?
It's been a while since I've heard of it.
Like fresh baked bread.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really deep in that.
Okay, so go ahead and grab that taste, and so that's kind of what I want to do, and that's part of why I love having Brad here. Is Brad is not a whiskey connoisseur. He appreciates whiskey. He can enjoy whiskey
and tequila are my liquors. Everything else.
But you're not You're not a student of whiskey.
You guys are the ones that I go to when I have questions about whiskey.
I appreciate that.
And I always
That's what this channel's all about.
Right? Literally.
Okay, so first impressions. Let's go ahead and Matthew. So you liked the smell. What did you get on the smell?
Well, the smell was malty and citrus.
Okay.
The taste.
Now, what kind of citrus?
More lemon.
Like lemon juice,
like lemon zest, I'd say. Probably
sweeter
more lemon
or
zest. Tangy.
Tangy. Okay.
And zest thing was on. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, when he said that just
it's like right on the palate.
Flavor. I was like, there's something like that.
Now, do you get anything else earthiness, like buttery, something like that at all?
Flowers.
Flowers, okay. So
I'm tasting like what flowers should taste like.
Okay, so you get a floral.
Probably just smell it, like you smell the flower.
Right.
I'm getting that flavor kind of in there.
Honeysuckle, I bet, is the flavor you're looking for, or the scent that you're talking about. Honeysuckle, kind of like
floral, sweet. Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Floral but sweet and honeyed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what did you get on the palate?
I got, all right. So you get the malt. I got a little bit more of like a grass, earthy character, more leaning into like lemongrass-esque.
Okay, so not like hay grass or
grass, no. I mean
like
the malt
lemongrass.
Yeah, you got the malt, but this was like a separate character, like that lemongrass, like characteristics. A little bit tangy, but
was there anything? Was there any flavor that was overpowering at all that really stood out? As far as like, and if it didn't, that's fine. I just want to know. Was it really pretty well balanced, or was there any flavor that actually just jumped out at you with the combination?
It was pretty well balanced.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
I mean, the grass characteristic, just because it's one of those that I don't always appreciate in some things.
I know what you're
kick
saying
into
about the
notice.
grass texture or
But
the
it-
grass characteristic. Yeah,
But it wasn't. That one wasn't offensive and it wasn't strong. It was just in a background.
So it kind of
and
changed
I'm
the
putting
Now,
the sweetness with that, and that's
Right.
how I'm getting
It balanced
that.
it out
Just
a
that
bit.
flower,
Now-
that honeysuckle.
Now here's my question: Did the cheese balance with the smoke and take out that smoke at all? And really, did it neutralize that smoke, or did?
Yeah, I didn't really notice the peat.
I didn't know. Besides the crumbles that were in my mouth, if there was any, that's all I.
Awesome.
And the cheese.
Let's go ahead and say, what was your favorite pairing? Do you think of the 6? Any of them, or any couple of them? Did you think so? Was your favorite? Would you say the Bowmore with the cheese, or would you say that it was like the Makers with the cherry, or where would you go? You think?
All right. Weirdly, I like the Jamie with the cheese.
Okay,
that was
that's-
really good.
That's surprising for me because he really does not like Jameson that much.
I'm not a
at
fan
all.
of Jamie at all.
Okay,
Like, mix it into something.
but that was your
get
favorite.
around it.
That was your favorite pairing.
It was,
probably.
yeah. It was the next. It that one, and then the Makers with the cheese because it just popped that cherry so far out.
Okay, so what?
Obviously,
and
it's
so
like cherry notes.
Okay, so for you, what would you say was kind of your favorite or most interesting? It can be your most interesting one.
Sure, it's not my favorite, but Jameson and the cherry, that one was tolerable. That one was pretty good. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the same way about Jameson. There's something in Jameson that just puts me off.
So
a little
you
bit.
liked that it turned it more to a bourbon vibe.
Probably so. That,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now
But the Makers and the cherry, I like the Makers and the cherry.
I remember you earlier on, and I'll have to go through and find this, but I believe you said that the Bowmore with the cherry was the most dynamic. Like it had the most contrast of flavor. Is that right?
Well, it was the
Well, I said
smell
that.
with the flavor,
Yeah.
but yes, the cherry and the Beaumont, I think did
They had the
something.
most, like between the smell and the taste. The smell was, like I said, for myself, burnt tires. It was just a tire fire. That's what jumped out of the glass on that one.
And
But
then-
on the taste, you didn't get that at all.
Awesome. And so, would you guys agree then? It sounds like what you were saying was the Bowmore with the cheese was the most balanced, probably the most complimentary, that just really balanced
I
well.
think that one was probably the most balanced. Yeah, it was something that there wasn't
Where-
nothing
where
that
they ju-
complimented more than the other.
Right, where
It
the
was
flavors
kinda
just,
went
married together.
Pretty good.
Right.
Okay, so if I wanted to, if I were gonna, and this is where I'm studying. Like I said, I'm a student. So if I wanted to do a pairing and I wanted to have something where the flavors just really marry together so that they just combine, you guys would agree that maybe Bowmore with the cheese might be a way to go.
But one with the cheese and the Makers with the cherry.
The Bowmore with the cheese, especially because of just for like myself, where that contrasting nose to the taste, it's so different that once you taste it, it's just like, ooh, hey. So it's like you really mess with somebody when they go to smell that. They're like, what? And after they eat that thing, they're like, ooh. But then they taste it as a whole different animal.
Okay, I love
Drink
that.
apple bottle.
All right, so what we can take away from this is, first of all, try pairings. It doesn't matter what you have.
Right.
You can make it at home, with whatever you've got. Just think about the food that you're making. And but let's say that if you don't have a bunch of whiskeys, let's say you only have 2 or 3 whiskeys at the house.
Right.
Take those 2 or 3 whiskeys, sit down and taste them. Figure out those profiles for you. And then pick a food that you have or that you can make to pair it with it. Now, that's the harder way to do it, in my opinion, but you go with what you've got. Whiskey can be expensive,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that you can't still enjoy good pairings.
Right. For sure.
All right. So, for your first pairing, did you have a good time?
Oh, it was great.
Awesome.
Good food. You did a great job on the appetizers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they
those are
were
tasty.
on point.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that.
Whether it's the fruit and the cheese, it didn't matter. Both of them with chocolate on was excellent.
All right, go ahead and mix your guys' glasses together with whatever you've got left here. If you
Mine are all empty.
my shocked face. All right, so let's go ahead. You guys will each need a pour. Pick whatever you want. If you've got enough for a pour, we're just going to toast. We're going to toast the channel. Oh, you went on. I should have done that. What am I doing? What am I doing? Not sending him the peated
I was
scotch.
gonna pay more.
Okay, so once again, this is one of those things you guys can try at home, and you should try at home. In fact, if you're studying your whiskey, you should absolutely study whiskey, the flavors you're getting with different foods and with
Right.
different drinks, just to see if it changes that profile. Because everything you pair affects your
Everything you've eaten is going to affect how you taste.
yes, and so this is one of the things I want everyone to take away is you should experience your whiskey. That's what these tastings, that's what these videos are all about. It's not about reviewing the whiskey. It's about how you can experience that whiskey. Now, the best way to experience is with family and friends, obviously.
Right.
But you can experience it in so many different ways. A single whiskey can do 100 different things just based on what you're pairing it with, what you're drinking, or what you're eating with, and sometimes just who you're hanging out with.
Right.
Because their notes influence your notes sometimes, as we've seen.
It helps, flush out the thought.
Right, and so once again, I want to thank you guys for taking the time and joining me. I want to thank Matthew and Brad both for agreeing to sit down with me and do this.
We got free whiskey.
So once again, I can't stress enough how much I really love doing this with you guys and for you guys out there. Click like, click subscribe, ring the bell so you get the notifications when we've got new things coming out. Get your friends together and do a tasting. It doesn't matter if it's blind. It doesn't matter if you're pairing it. It doesn't matter if you're just sitting there telling stories. Really go experience your whiskey. So between now and then, here's to good friends, good times, and good whiskey.
Cheers guys.